This is 100 days of hardcore Skyblock. In this world, islands will generate randomly, some useful such as the broken portal, and others will just be empty and small such as the Plains Island that only really provides some flowers, but we also have that beautiful orange wood from the acacia trees that nobody really asked for but we got anyways. The wood's ugly, fight me about it. And with that, we're gonna go straight to the island and start chopping that tree down. I then used that wood to craft myself a wooden bench and some sticks, placed it down, and then I crafted myself a nice wooden pickaxe. Then it was time to make the cobblestone generator, so I grabbed the ice, placed it down, broke it for the water, and then I broke the rest of the grass required to make the rest of the generator. Then I had a pretty epic gamer moment, placed the lava on the grass, panicked for a bit while on fire, until I finally realized that I could just jump into the water and cool off. After placing the lava, I decided that it was time to break all the grass and flowers on the island with the hopes of finding at least one seed, which we did, but then I just put it in a chest. Afterwards, I decided to mine a little bit of cobblestone just to get enough for some certain tools that I would need. I then realized that we had a sapling waiting for us, so I grabbed it, placed it down. I then realized that I was wasting time by mining with my wooden pick, so it was time to upgrade, and I got myself a stone pick as well as an axe and a stone sword just in case, even though we probably won't have many mob spawns since I am using slabs. I then spent a good amount of time mining some more cobblestone because honestly you can never have too much in Skyblock. After that I crafted myself some slabs, covered up the lava, that way we won't fall in it, and of course less cobblestone drops will go in it. After that I spent some time mining some more, and then I finally realized that I should probably craft myself a furnace, and then I plopped it down. Don't know why I needed it at the time, but we crafted it, so we were being pretty bougie for what we needed because we did not have anything to cook in it. I then placed an obsidian on the back side of the generator, that way we wouldn't be worried that we'll break through the back and then fall off somehow. Afterwards, I used slabs to go one level up higher, that way we could avoid mob spawns, and I kind of expanded the main island a bit. After that, I did some more mining of course, just so I could be able to craft some more stone slabs. This is going to happen quite a lot. And then I used it to build. I basically spent the rest of the night just building and filling up everything that we needed to fill up. I kind of went with a square design just because, I don't know, I mean, we're up in the sky. What am I supposed to build? I don't have anything besides stone right now. Running out of slabs, I went back to mining for the rest of the night and basically mined my way into day 2. As you can see, the sunrise, and now it's time for day 2. On the morning of day 2, we started off by crafting some cobblestone slabs, just so we could try to fill in everything that we had started the previous night. We did make some decent amount of progress, and I was quite happy with where we were at, but of course, it was back to mining again. I decided to place more blocks, and that's kind of what we did for the entirety of day 2. It was just going back and forth between the cobblestone generator and actually placing blocks. The day was pretty repetitive. We kept going back and forth between the cobblestone generator and placing blocks. We did make a lot of progress though, so I can't really be upset about it, but you know, it was a pretty lackluster day, and we basically ended up spending the rest of the night just mining, and yeah, it was kind of lame, but we got through it, and with that, we start day number 3. While mining, I realized that we should probably keep going with the square build that we're doing, so I marked off the middle on all the sides of the square, hoping that later on we could use it to make paths, and I then also continued building the wall at least 2 high using the cobblestone walls. It was looking okay, but the priority was to make it so it'd be harder for us to fall off, and we did quite well with that. But of course, it was always back to mining. While mining, I realized that I didn't really feel too safe. We hadn't slept in a while, and I knew that the phantoms were going to start spawning anytime soon, so I decided to build myself a little enclosure just to make myself feel a little safer at night while I'm mining. The rest of the night was basically just spent mining. I did eat an apple because the hunger bar was low, but it really didn't do too much since it was just an apple, and that was it for that day. On day 4, I realized that it was time for us to actually get all the dirt that was underneath the island, so I started off by placing cobblestone slabs underneath so I could walk as I broke them and not fear for my life by falling down. After creating a little pocket, I basically just started breaking all the dirt around. We got, I believe, a little over a stack, which is really good for Skyblock. Of course, we could get some later on from other islands that spawn, but 64 off the bat is really nice. After breaking everything that I had built underneath and filling up the hole that was left, I basically expanded the tree farm. I broke a block every other 2 blocks, so on each side I had 4, And this is what the final result looks like. Nice little X pattern of trees. The rest of the day was basically just spent mining, and that was it. On the 5th morning, I said screw it. We had seen the broken Nether portal island for quite a couple days, so we built on over with the hopes of finding something in the chest, or at least finding out if we had lava available. As you guys saw in the chest, we didn't get anything too special. We got some iron nuggets, and I went ahead and crafted those into ingots, hoping that it'd be enough for a tool, but it was only 2 of them. I then crafted torches and placed them on the pillars. That way we would, I don't know, it'd look nice, I'd say, so mobs won't spawn, but that hasn't been an issue since we've been using slabs. And while I was in my settings, this tree popped up. Usually I wouldn't really care for these trees, I'd be super annoyed in regular survival, but in Skyblock you can't have enough wood, so I love these trees, they're amazing, and I need more of them. And of course I replanted afterwards. At the end of the day, we did the usual. We started mining, and we had basically completed the 5th day. It flew by, but we got a decent amount of stuff done, and it was on to the next day. Day 6, we started off by chopping down the tree that grew overnight. 5 pieces of wood, and then we built the other side of the bridge heading to the broken portal, which it didn't take too long, but it did take quite a good amount of slabs. Then we made our way back over. Kind of did this to show you guys the scale of things. We were walking back because we didn't have any food. Yeah, I mean, these bridges are getting pretty long already, and my fear is that I'll get stuck out in the middle of nowhere and I'll have phantoms spawn and they'll knock me off. I guess that's the current fear that I have, just falling off due to. I then did some more mining, chopped a little wood, and I kind of went back and forth between that throughout the day, just making sure I mined while I waited for trees to grow. And I honestly finished off the night by doing a little mining. Day 7, the previous night we did redo our chest area, so now one side is cobble and the other side is wood based. The bottom chests are just random chests for us to keep other stuff such as mob drops, saplings, etc. The point was to just stay organized and have more storage room because we're definitely going to need it, so might as well get it over with. I then built out on one of the sides of the island, hoping that we'd find something. We were still looking for water so we can make an infinite water source, but as I got building, I eventually ran into this sand-like structure. I believe that there was going to be a chest in the middle since I had played this pack in the past, and of course there was, obviously. We did get some pretty good things out of it, and by good I mean pretty good. We got like a total of 6-7 diamonds, a ton of 3 iron and 6 gold, which is still really good. I then made sure to build back the other half of the bridge, that way it would be wider for us. And we did some more wood mining, of course, because wood is beautiful, wood is life. And then as I was putting away the loot, I realized that I had some cooked cod or fish. I don't even know what it was. I think it's cod. So I made sure to eat it since we hadn't eaten it in a while. And then I spent the entire rest of the afternoon, evening, and night mining. I knew that I needed to find water so we could get the mob grinder going. And without the water, we were pretty much stumped. Day 8 started off as usual. We started off by knocking down some trees, getting some wood, same thing every morning. But then afterwards I decided to build out on the last side we hadn't seen yet. I was still looking for that water source somewhere, but I just couldn't find it. I found a boat, like a sunken ship. I ain't gonna look at it though. I then decided it was time to light up the portal. I carefully built the rest of it, making sure I wouldn't screw it up. For lighting it up, it was time to check it out. I went in there and noticed that there was nothing, except on the other side I did notice that there were some shadows in the background. I'm not sure if you saw it. It looked like the shadow of a fortress, and we also had that small little island. I didn't see a chest though, so I left. I then also explored all the sides with max render distance, just to see if I could load in any new islands that I hadn't seen yet, with the hopes of finding one with a water source. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and we were back to spending the night just mining cobblestone. Day 9 was amazing. We basically spent the entire day just chopping down trees. We needed the wood for a ton of trapdoors later on for our grinder, so we basically kept chopping down trees until the night. And then, as always, we spent the entire night just mining all night long. And that was it for day 9. We only did those 2 things. Day 10 was exactly the same as day 9. We just cut a ton of wood at the beginning and finished off the night with some mining. And that's all we did for day 10. On the morning of day 11, we did have some troubles. We were low on food, so I had decided to go to the floating sand islands with the hopes of finding food and maybe some more ores that could help us accelerate our progression. When I got up there, I actually got a decent amount of items. I got way more diamonds, iron, gold, a bunch of good stuff. But unfortunately, I had also decided to go to the second floating island, and that's where I kind of spent the entire night. I got foggy and I was scared to go back home. So on the morning of day 12, we finally decided to go home once the flying, menacing hell things disappeared. So we made our way on over, but then I found out that we had a slight issue. When I approached the creeper, it moved side to side, and I was kind of confused. I didn't know that I have a movement mod added, but it's nice to know that we have more animations added for the mobs. This was the first mob we ran into, so I was pretty confused when I saw it, but like the pro gamer we are, we jumped over it and continued on with our day. I tried breaking as much of the path as I could, but obviously I didn't really want to bother with it since we did have mobs spawning up there and I felt that it'd be too dangerous. The rest of the evening we spent chopping down some trees, and then of course, as always, we ended off the night by mining some beautiful cobblestone. On day 13, 14, and 15, we did the exact same thing. We either mined or chopped down trees, and it was a consistent back and forth. We still hadn't found the water, so I needed cobblestone to build the bridges until I could find another source of water to get the infinite source. Without the infinite source, I can't really build the mob grinder, so we spent the 3 days just gathering as much wood for the trapdoors that we would need, as well as the cobblestone that we would need to eventually build the mob grinder. It honestly is kind of upsetting that we haven't been able to find water to make the infinite source, but it's how it goes and we'll keep on looking for it, and that's basically the main priority right now. On the morning of day 16, we started off by grabbing some cobblestone and crafting that into some slabs. We then ran past our nether portal to the end of the bridge and continued building outwards because we needed to find that water source. We did have 2 sea temples, but if you get close to them, a shit ton of mobs spawn and it seems like a death sentence, so we aren't gonna get the water from there. We kept building for the majority of the day to the point where we just kind of ran back at the end of the evening, and we did what we usually do at night, which was mine. We didn't find the water source, so all that building out seemed kind of not really worth it, but you know, it's part of the game, so we'll see how it goes. Day 17 was also a dud. I had decided to build out to 2 of the chests surrounded by sand, and we basically screwed up because it was foggy that day. So since it was foggy, I really didn't know when it would get dark. So upon looting the chests, I basically surrounded myself in cobble and stayed there for the entire night. So I wasted an entire day because I was too afraid of going back because I'd be afraid that the phantoms would come and knock me off. On day 18, we proceeded to build from where we had stayed the night to a broken nether portal we had found, and we looted it in the hopes of finding a damn water bucket. I don't even think water buckets spawn in the broken nether portal chest, but I just needed that damn bucket. And yeah. Yeah. We got some shit, a couple helmets, and you know, 2 more iron ingots out of those shreds that I had, so I couldn't really complain. But then I made a cauldron when I got back, placed it down, and I was like, huh, maybe I could put the potion in it. But that didn't work. But then, you know, just because I'm so genius, I decided to drink the potion. Yeah, I wasted it. I didn't even care for water breathing. Filled it up with water, and then right-clicked the cauldron, hoping that it would work, and it did. So, yeah, we basically spent a ton of cobblestone building out, and we could have had our water a long time ago. So yeah, Then we spent the rest of the day just chopping up some wood, and we ended off the night by doing some more mining. You know, who would have thought that in Skyblock, where you have to mine because cobble is the only unlimited resource you have, that I would mine again, right? Day 19 put us back on track. We built out diagonally and proceeded to build a platform for our mob grinder. We built a nice little 3x3 killing area with a 19 block drop. I then proceeded to build out 4 blocks on every side. After doing so, I connected them using an outer square type build, and I pretty much decided to call it a day. I was getting towards the evening and I was afraid that, you know, the phantoms would spawn, so I laid down some torches and headed on down. After making my way back over to the main part of the island, it was pretty much time to do our usual. We spent the evening chopping down some trees, and we did our usual nightly routine of mining for beautiful cobblestone. In the morning of day 20, super early, sun was barely making its way out. We immediately started off by heading back to the top of the grinder to continue what we had built. Once we got to the top, we continued where we left off. We filled in all 4 corners of the platform we had made the previous day. We then had to make sure that the water would funnel the way that we needed it to, so we built kind of these lifted corners. It's like a little L shape with, I guess, an extra cobblestone. I don't know how else to explain it. I then made the little middle portion of it by placing wooden gates all around and leaving them in the open position so the mobs could funnel right through. I then built our first set of walls. These would also be the outline for our spawning pads. And, you know, it's an easy task just building around in a square, but man, all the material that just you're basically throwing out and the amount of time it actually took, like, it takes a big chunk of the day. You know, the Minecraft days are pretty small, but you know, we try to do the most. The spawning platforms consisted of a 3x3 area with wooden trapdoors around them. Each floor has a total of 9 spawning platforms, so since we're doing a total of 3 floors in this build, that's a total of 27 spawning pads. After completing the first set of spawning platforms, I began making the walls for the second floor, but since it was getting kinda late, I had to call it quits for the day and head on down. Once I got back to mainland, I decided to spend the evening by chopping down some more trees and did the usual routine as always. I've been mining for so much at this point that it feels like I am living the SpongeBob fish meme, where he goes to work, goes home, sleeps, goes to work, goes home, sleeps. It is killing me slowly. On the morning of day 20, I was too afraid to go up through the middle and the bottom because I was afraid that a mob would have spawned there overnight. So like the pro Minecraft player that I am, right? And because I'm a genius, I scaled up the side, the underside of the spawning area, and climbed the side of that wall. It's magic. It's like a heist. Just hire me for your next bank robbery. Like, I got you. Once I was at the top, I began building the second layer of spawning pads, which was pretty fun. You know, we had done it once, so of course we could do it twice. And then built the last set of walls that we had for this grinder. It was quite a relief because we were really going through cobblestone. I then built the third and final layer of the spawning platforms. In total, like I said, we have 27 of them, which should be more than enough. You know, for what we need. We don't need a crazy powerful grinder, but it, you know, as we were building it, I noticed that it looked like a number symbol, which was pretty cool, but it was getting pretty late and it was foggy, so I couldn't tell when it would actually get dark. So after building the third layer, I went on down. Once at the bottom, I crafted some slabs so I could actually complete the little killing area, because at the moment it was just full blocks and we needed slabs so we could actually swing our sword. We then did some more beautiful wood chopping. I mean, at this point we're getting so much wood that we won't really struggle for it. And of course, you guessed it. Yeah, you fucking guessed it. More mining. Day 22 was another super productive day. I started by placing our last wooden gates for the grinder, and then I jumped all the way down to the bottom floor and actually placed the water in the corners so that the mobs would actually funnel into the death pit. Afterwards, I made my way back up slowly with a water bucket, but I also broke all the torches I had placed the previous days so that mobs could start spawning once I closed off the roof. After I finished building the roof, I made sure to place a lot of torches down. That way mobs wouldn't spawn on top of the grinder, because it'd be bad if we'd have mobs raining down on us. I was super happy that we were done with the main part of the grinder, but we had to go down to the bottom and actually make the platform bigger so that we could place some chests and some things that we might need to build in the future. And I also made sure to place some torches and build with cobblestone walls around, and basically called it a day. We went back to the main island, chopped down a ton of trees, and mined some more fucking cobblestone that I am so very much tired of. But for some reason, I risked it for the biscuit. I said screw the phantoms and spent a good amount of time getting some XP from the mob grinder. It was pretty efficient, and somehow we managed to get a carrot and a potato within like the first, I don't know, like 30 seconds of using it, which was pretty crazy. And of course, you know, we made sure to grab the potato and the carrot, and we immediately took that potato and planted, bone meal the fuck out of it to get as many potatoes as we could, because that was it. Unlimited food right there. We then mined pickaxes using our cobblestone to finish off the rest of the night. This time lapse is of days 23 to 28. These days were spent doing some of the usual tasks that we're all familiar with. Since the beginning of the series we've been doing it, and it was the typical mining cobble and chopping down trees. It was a back and forth process for like 3 or 4 days where basically just farmed, but in the end I got an abundance of both of them, so I'm pretty much set for our next couple of builds that are gonna definitely come up soon. One of them being the Nether portal grinder, because we need gold so we could do some fiddling with the zombie villagers. Okay, no Diddy, that sounded weird. But I mean, at this point I was starting to think of a build for the island. I know the island looks bare and mechanical like my heart, but other than that, I really needed to change this shit. I'm gonna get no bitches with this. It's 0 riz right here, so I really need to figure out what I'm gonna build. Some of the ideas I had consisted of colored blocks, so I thought that on the morning of day 27 I should make a little farm. So I built to the closest island with grass to make a nice little spawning area for animals. I primarily needed the sheep for the colored wool that we could get out of it, but the cows would also come in handy because it would allow us to craft books so we can get started on enchanting either armor or tools. Primarily armor, just so we could stay on the safe side and I don't really have to worry about dying every single time that I do anything. But yeah, I mean, here's to hoping we actually get that done. And unfortunately, after getting this little small platform built, I headed back to the island, but I forgot to place torches. So as you guys can tell, during the night, a ton of crap spawned. I was worried, but you know, nothing happened in the end. On day 28, we went to the Nether to expand the area surrounding the portal, so we could create a nice little safe area for us to place a couple chests, and as well to be able to plan out how we'd make our gold farm. As you guys can tell, there's a ton of fortresses around this area, so I was honestly even debating making a gold farm because I felt like we wouldn't get the right amount of spawns and it would be a total waste of time. But in the end, of course, we did it. And also that tree right there, it was bothering me. I needed to get rid of it so nothing would spawn there and knock me off. I was paranoid as hell in the Nether, but yeah. But anyways, I went to the tree, chopped it down, but I didn't know that the leaves were just gonna stay there floating. I thought they would despawn like the overworld trees. So that was a pain in the ass later on, but yeah, we basically just created a safe area in the Nether. On day 29, we put walls around the platform we had built in the Nether, and we headed back to the main island, chopped down trees, and basically just mined for the rest of the day. We were gonna need a ton of cobble, so I just wanted to make sure we had extra just in case. On day 29, we went to the Nether to start building our pigment grinder. We needed the gold, obviously, so we started off by killing our little killing area, or the death pit. I did follow a video tutorial, so I'll have that linked in the biome. Not the biome, I have that link in the description. I would put one of those little sticker pop-ups with the link in the corner of the video, but I'm new to this and I don't know how to do that, so go to the description. But other than that, it was really easy to make. Had a total of 3 spawning platforms and each one had 3 layers. Super easy to build. Material cost was really cheap. All it was cobble and slabs, so we kind of got more out of it, or so I like to think. But yeah, we had quite the issue. Right after we built the first spawning area, day 30 started. We were following a video, so it was taking us long to build. But basically, in the end, we had an even bigger issue. 2 out of the 3 spawning platforms weren't working. Only one, which is the middle one, as you guys saw, was the functioning one. And yeah, we basically wasted materials. I'm assuming all the fortresses that we have around us might have somehow affected as to why they didn't work. But I mean, hey, it was cheap as it is, so I can't really complain about it, and we built it pretty fast. Once I got done, I built some more walls just because I was paranoid that the pigmen would come on over and kill me, and yeah, I didn't want that. But then we basically just farmed them for a day and called it a day. Also, if you remember, I said that tree was gonna annoy us somehow in the future. Well, yeah, I had to go take care of it because that Enderman was staring at me quite menacingly, and I did not want to stare at it on accident and just die. At the end of the entire build, it was day 31, and we headed back to the mainland, and we called it quits for that day. Day 32 to 38 were spent just mining and chopping down trees. We were going to need all sorts of cobblestone and wood for the next couple of builds I had planned. We were going to finish off our villager breeder area so we could get started on actually breeding villagers. And we were also going to complete the square outline of our island just to make it look more complete. We needed to work on all sorts of different things so the materials would come in handy. Now, it was pretty much a repetitive process, and we did get a lot done. I did also do some mob grinding, so that was great. We were stacking up on XP, but of course I still didn't have enough materials to get an enchantment table going. So for now, all the XP was kind of pointless, but it was nice to grab it just because, you know, it's better to have it in the long run. On the night of the 28th, while mining, I decided that I should grind some XP, but unfortunately the grinder blew up on me, and then I needed to kill all the mobs in there, of course, so I could take back the grinder from them. So I took out those zombies with the lava bucket. Easy work. And I kind of got stuck. I didn't really know how to approach. I didn't have any arrows because I set up the chests next to the grinder, and I should have kept a stack in the middle of the island where all my other chests were in case something like this did happen. So I was trying to sneak my way over to the chests, but I kind of fell down, and then the creeper locked onto me, so I needed to take him out. But then a skeleton also came by, so I made quick work of the creeper by knocking him off. But that skeleton kept shooting at me, and I was frozen. I wasn't using my shield. I don't even know what was... I don't know why I was so slow to react, but I slowly made my way over to him with the shield, and I took him out with one hit, but I didn't know that the second... Exactly. So as you guys saw, as soon as I killed that skeleton and turned around, another skeleton shot one arrow and it hit me in the back, and just like that, our 100-day survival was over. We only made it to day 38, which is sad. I wasn't even going to upload this, but I feel like showing my mistakes or my failures is a good thing because I could always come back to this in the future and give it another go and compare the differences between them and see if I improved anywhere. And I also had a lot of fun playing this. The hardcore aspect really makes it kind of scary because, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen and everything could be so spontaneous. Like, I was never expecting my grinder to get blown up by a creeper. I was shocked, and it ended up being the death of me, and it's how it goes. And with that, this is where I'll leave the video. I want to thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, please subscribe. I'm going to probably keep uploading these type of videos. They're really fun to make, and I really enjoyed it. So stay tuned because I'm probably already working on the next one.